How are you today and where are you dialing from?
I'm in Toronto.
And is it hot over there or cold? Because in
Perfect.
Europe it's really hot right now, almost unbearable. Perfect. Thank you for participating in my hot seat session where we help businesses and companies all over the globe address their blind spots, gain competitive edge, and foster a sense of community with our mentors. So first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself and your expertise.
My expertise is getting teams to think out of the box. And I do that with a lot of humor and role plays and using improvisation to develop the skill of adaptability to adapt when tough stuff happens. So that mindset to think quickly.
Great. So what inspired you to become a team trainer and, I can say like a global speaker?
Yeah, you can say it. When I was little, I loved to make people laugh, and then I got better and better at speaking in public. And I joined Toastmasters, and I was a trained teacher, and thus the two just kind of went together. That, of course, I would become a trainer. So that's it. Just following my passion.
Just following your passion. Great. So you mentioned to me that you would like to discuss how to develop innovative mindset and think out of the box. But first of all, can you tell me, what do you consider innovative mindset? What is
Essentially,
it? Mhm.
it's the opposite of like an old man sitting on a rocking chair thinking, oh, the past was better. Like the opposite of that, someone who's seeing the world with different eyes, with curiosity, with an idea of possibility. Like the things that the young founders, the young startups that I work with, the things they come up with, it's like this one guy, he took from Barcelona hospitals, he took all the excess waste and the robes, the gloves, the things they only use for like half an hour. He took all that and he made blocks out of it to build houses. Like that's thinking out of the box. I've never in my life thought that, so we need people who are able to like think in their field, like further than what the eye can see. And that's not super common. And so it takes a little bit of tweaking to get people to that level, to get engineers to that level.
Do you think a lot of companies suffer from being, non-innovative? Is it the issue for companies and businesses?
I ask you, do you think that most people suffer from being non-innovative? Yeah. So
Okay.
no,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm asking you, do you think that most
Oh,
humans suffer from that?
I think, often I think that people think that, they are, modern, they know how technology works, but that's the only thing that they know. And in reality, they're staying on the same place. They don't really, they're afraid to go out of their comfort zone and try something new.
Because why are people afraid to try something new?
Oh, well, this is an interesting question. You're interviewing me now.
I've hot spotted
Maybe
lots of
because
people.
it's like undiscovered space. We're always afraid of something we don't know about, right?
Yeah, we're afraid of what we don't know because we don't know how we will react. If you believed that you would be fine in a war situation, if you knew that you had the skills and you had the confidence in yourself, that you would be fine in that divorce, if you knew you'd be okay when your kid goes through an accident, and you'd have the resilience and the creativity and the optimism to deal with it, then you would say, sure, let's try something new. But if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't know that you have resilience as a human, and if you don't know that you are able to deal with life's difficulties, then you are never going to step out of the box of comfort and knowledge of understanding what you already know. Thus, we train people to have confidence in their skills, confidence in themselves, confidence listening to their gut feeling. And that can literally change the world.
Oh, that's wonderful. What you started telling me about the guy who took, the leftovers from hospitals. Maybe you can tell me some more case studies or, different, like interesting challenges that you've helped the client or business overcome.
There's a lovely girl named Julia. She won an award at the startup grind in Mataró here in Catalonia. And she created a device for safety for women. And that looks like a little grenade, kind of an assertive marketing move. And when you're alone on the street, if you pull it, It tells the location where you are to your friends and to the police. So now women who traditionally don't want to walk at night in the dark, now they don't have to be so scared, you know, like imagine half the 24 hours is darkness. And someone thought, how can I make this better for women? You know, how is this not enough? I want more. I'm curious, how is there more? What would be possible? As our founders of our program, I'm in a program called AQAI, and we measure adaptability. We measure the difference between someone who's ready to deal with difficult stuff and someone who's not so ready to deal with it. And we measure their environment. Maybe it's just the place they work at and they need to move, or it's their character. This way, this way, their character. And a lot of times people need to unlearn what they've learned as kids to be able to see the world with different eyes. And we have 3 steps for it. So I know that's one of your next questions.
Oh, I think that's exactly what I wanted to ask first. You know, what are some mistakes that people make when they try to innovate? You know, first some negative stuff, and then we can turn to positive. What are some mistakes?
Mistakes when they try to innovate? Well, they give up too early. They run out of money. Because essentially it took 10,000 tries to make the light bulb. So I suppose if he stopped at 995, he would have failed at innovation. I guess you just need enough money and enough support from your community. They say something in the founders industry, the startup industry today, friends, family, and fools. You need enough of those people to support you until it gets popular and bought out, or that you can finally make some money. But you need to do what the market wants. But the problem is getting a bunch of engineers who have never been trained to think outside of the box, and then hiring them to think outside of the box and beat the competition and the new products coming from Asia. Well, they don't know how to do that. They know how to code or create a program. If you want innovators, you need a Steve Jobs mindset. How did Steve Jobs get like that? Was he born like that, or can you train people? Can he train his people to be more like him? We should interview him in the hotspot.
Right. I have such an interesting question as you were talking. For example, if we're talking about a business and company, and, you know, for example, a leader, he's kind of innovative, you know, wants to do, you know, he has some, you know, amazing ideas, but he has to tell his team, you know, how to innovate. How can he help his team to become innovative? You know, because it's the whole team. It takes the whole team to be successful, right?
Yeah, you got that. So you just said the word. So I had this up earlier. Engage is my company here. And there's one word that is so powerful to create a psychological safe team that innovates. End. It's end. Most people spend their lives saying, yes, but. And yes, but, if you hear it, it just has this energy of, right? It's like,
yeah, it has negative aspect of it.
Exactly. So it erases the first part's importance. And so if you have a team that doesn't use but, it's a subtle shift, but it's extremely powerful, because instead of saying, yes, I heard your idea, but it's too expensive, you get someone saying, yes, I heard your idea, and right now it's too expensive. Can you research the new technology coming out and let me know? You know, it
Great. I love it. It shifts completely.
Right? Opportunity, possibility is now there. It's not here right now. We still need to do something, and puts down limits, right? If something happens, when something happens, it's a yes, but the other one is a yes, no. And so that shift is where you have small possibilities where genius can be created. Mr. Bean has been quoted to say, from every 20 stupid ideas comes one good idea. He did not. I said that. And that's the problem. If you say no or yes, but to 20 ideas that are like not good, Kodak, you're not going to get to the good idea, right? Let's try that. Oh, no, that was really stupid. Let's try that. Oh, that was even more stupid. Oh, that was a little bit less stupid. Oh, that's less stupid, less stupid, less stupid, less stupid. If they were that easy to think about, everybody would be innovating. There's a subtle difference in the psychological safety, the thriving mentality, the curious mentality of a team that creates and disrupts the industry, compared to one that just copies and follows and enjoys their work.
Absolutely, absolutely love it. I'm gonna use it myself in the future. Thanks a lot. And
Yeah.
also, you've mentioned there are some 3 steps. What are those? Yeah, let's turn to positive.
Let's fun of it. So the first most important word is that you start your sentences with the mindset of, and I hear you. So like, yes, I heard you. I don't agree with you. And I will do something about it. I will either, like, as you can see, and I will give my opinion, my need, and me. It's about like you part of it. The whole team gives a part of themselves. And thus you have a team with fully engaged is my company, fully engaged people who want to create something. If you don't have that, you're going to have to deal with just the boss creating everything. And that's a lot of pressure for one person to create all these ideas. The lab. The lab is, da-da-da. We use the yes and then we do listen, accept, and build. These are the 3 steps. Listen, first you have to hear the other person. If you're not even listening to the details, how can you do anything?
Absolutely. I feel like sometimes a lot of people hear, but we don't really listen.
Oh my gosh, that's the #1 problem of divorce and money problems and infidelity. First, you got to listen, okay? Don't be a loser, listen. Once you have listened, you have all the information. You might not like the information, but you must accept. You must accept it. It's their truth, it's the economy, it's the reality, it's how they feel, it's the facts. You breathe in, you breathe out, you accept the reality, and then you have a choice to run away. So you say no, to kind of say no by saying yes, but, or you have the opportunity to say yes and build. So you have LAB. You create a lab. You think like a scientist. You think about the possibilities. If I try again, you think like Edison creating that light bulb. You listen, you accept, and you build whenever an offer comes, and you respond with yes and. These 3 steps create a more open-minded, innovative, curious mindset. And when you have that, things come to you and you don't reject them. This is how you create stuff. It's 3 steps.
This is so actionable. I love it because it's really easy to remember the way you explained it. So I'm definitely going to implement this. But before we wrap up, I would like to ask you
And
again,
before we
maybe you
wrap
can
up,
tell, and before we and before we wrap up, maybe you have some more, secrets or words to tell to teams on how, or maybe, to encourage them to innovate before we wrap up.
to encourage them. The world is yours, my teams. If you treat each other with respect, if you take their ideas and you listen, accept them, and build on them, and maybe trash them in 2 weeks, but hear the other person. Okay, if they're an idiot, okay, fire them. But you shouldn't have idiots on your team. Everyone on your team should be there because of their strengths. And if you know their strengths and you know their weaknesses, you can accept them as a whole human. And then you have a group of humans with their good and their bad. I call them 80-20 humans. 80% punctual, great at work, motivated, and 20% late, 20% smelly lunch, 20% rainy day attitude. But humans are both. And then once you accept that they're both, you give them a break when they're having a bad day. You give them empathy. And we give them empathy and you give them equal speaking time. Equal speaking time and empathy are the keys to having a thriving team. And if your team has that and they have a yes and attitude, not too much can go wrong. Obviously in technology, you need some brains, you need some studies, you need some vision, but that's stuff you should already have if you're a business. That I can help you guys make that mindset shift. We say in Spain, like change the chip. The chip from rocking chair, old man, oh, that can't be done. The world's getting worse and worse, to wow, the world is getting worse and worse. And I wonder what we can do to make it just 1% better tomorrow. No secret.
I absolutely agree with that. Oh my God. Thank you so much for this energizing session. I loved every second of it. I'm going to use most of the tips that you told me about. And I hope our audience enjoyed this conversation just as much as I did. So if you did, I highly encourage you to check the caption and learn how can you work one-on-one with Jessica. Again, thank you so much for being part of our wonderful Mafia community. And I can't wait to see you again. I loved it. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thanks for engaging.
Thank you, Jessica. Have a good day.
Bye.